It's great to be talking to Domo today, and I have the pleasure of conversation with Jason Smith and Jude Bolton from the Domo team. So welcome.
Thanks very much, Daniel. Good to be here.
So tell us a little bit about Domo, and for each of you, Jude and Jason, what attracted you to be working with Domo?
What attracted me about Domo was it's a unified platform. So the fact that we can actually integrate with source systems, bring data into Domo, transform it into information that is readily available to put back to the business user that they can actually make decisions on, and then extend it even further to third-party users and app development. So to have that all in one framework, for me, was really exciting to be a part of.
I'm a people person, so your business discussions all the time, and the fact that you can walk into any sort of organisation, any functional level, and have a discussion around how are they measuring things, how are they managing that, and there's generally a Domo solvable use case. It's pretty exciting, and I guess that's why I love the diversity of our use cases.
It's not just a piece of toolkit. We're actually really interested in what's the business problem, and then reverse engineering that to ensure that we can connect to the data and the sources that provide you the information that are required to provide a solution or an answer to the business problem.
What difference does good data and insights make to a business? Is it worth all the fuss that we've had over the last decade or so?
Sometimes I see businesses flying blind without those good insights and richness of data, and we're going into a stage now where there's more data than ever, but it's actually unlocking that dark data is critical to an organisation.
The conversations that we're having with clients around, they've got a hypothesis on how they can improve their business or pivot their business. And a lot of those decisions are being made traditionally on gut feel and knowledge of the business rather than information led. So now the data that would really back up their decision making and to be able to make those decisions quickly.
What do you see, perhaps over the last 5 years, as the change in attitude to data or the asset of data in your client organisations?
Experience of being in Domo now for 4 years. Early on, there was a lot of switching the lights on for organisations, actually just getting to a stage of enlightenment a little bit in that sense. Now it's actually starting to think, okay, how can we automate business processes? How can we streamline? How can we do more with less? That's what this whole COVID environment is shone a light on as well, is getting across the metrics that matter in your business has never been more important. So I look where the game's gone now. I guess it's now in predictive analytics. It's around setting up training auto ML models and things like that. So let the tools be the enabler, and also help even streamline that decision making even more.
Where do you see the major effort and cost in putting one of these platforms together? Is it in the data presentation layer, or is it in sourcing the data or transforming the data?
So what we experience in our clients, that they've got separate software or vendors offering bits of that puzzle. How do you integrate that? How do they talk together so you get that seamless flow of information? Cost alone, just for having someone external to come in and do that for you, add in the cost of each separate component. Now it suddenly starts to become a very, very different scenario when you're talking about a total cost of ownership.
Yeah.
And organisations never actually get to the high value initiatives that they want to get to. They're bogged down in wrangling data and integrating data. So if you can get to those high value use cases or initiatives really quick, suddenly the business can really take some leaps and bounds forward. One of the major global retailers are able to ingest close to 30,000 data sources and normalise and streamline that within about 4 or 5 weeks. So that speed to market, and now they've actually rolled out a digital cockpit to 30 or 40 countries globally. So significant use case, incredible amounts of data and scale.
Our client base, Blue Bikes community of organisations we partner with, are involved in supporting the vulnerable and the disabled, the aged. Do you have any interest in serving in the community sector with that kind of global big tech background?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what excites me the most about the platform, is the fact that we can work with the big end of town enterprise accounts, but also have massive impact in the not-for-profit space and smaller entities that are grappling with the same challenges, not being able to connect to their critical sources of information, and they're keen to make decisions. From Jason and I, background as athletes, I think we come from what I would term, really blessed and, privileged lifestyle, and the fact that, we got to play elite sport. I certainly want to give back as much as I can throughout. So it's certainly something I'm passionate about.
I heard a rumour there might be some sporting background. Jude, what can you tell me about Jason's sporting prowess?
Jason's dual Olympian, 3-time NBL champion. So I love when I hear him talk about data integration and things like that. It's always pretty fascinating.
Jason, that is an impressive record. What can you tell me about Jude and his potential sporting prowess, if the rumour's correct?
Jude was a really good high school hurdler.
Oh, well done, Jude.
Yeah,
there may have been some football in there as well, I think.
Pretty quick off the mark. No, Jude obviously played Sydney Swans. He's actually a premiership player, obviously, but I can't remember how many games you played, Jude, but
I have a suspicion it may have been over 300.
I think he holds the record still for most tackles in a game, which is pretty impressive because he's not the biggest bloke. But, incredibly gifted footballer that wore his heart on his sleeve when he played the game.
Yeah. So sport's a big part of your history, and no doubt still close to your heart. And I'm hearing that you've found ways to draw that into your Domo work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that we step into an executive board meeting for a customer or prospect, and they want to talk a bit of sport beforehand, and then we get down to actual business. But the connections and the networks from sport, I'll always cherish, and just the camaraderie. I think that translates really well to businesses. Yeah,
and you've seen some good use cases of Domo in that community sector, whether it's sports bodies or others. Talk me through some of that experience.
It's a terrific use case with SaveTheChildren.org, and in the end, we've been able to empower some of the country managers that just really were needing insights and real-time insights to be able to identify where they need to position the resources to better support close to 155 million children across the US and across the globe. So more locally, I mean, we're lucky enough to partner with Blue Bike and work with one of the peak bodies in the disability sector, and the impact that we can have in an organisation where they're dealing with memberships and trying to have an impact also on the front line is super powerful, and something that really is pleasing to be involved with.
From my experiences working with the staff in Domo and getting to know them better, is that there's a lot of staff, actually majority of them are all working in their own charities, or involved at a board level at a charity. So there is a lot of deep connections in community-based engagements.
I've got a customer in the not-for-profit space that the CFO actually talks about the Pied Piper approach, and she's been able to then go to other functions of her organisation and say, well, what do you want to focus on? Let's start, as Jason said before, with the business questions. Let's iteratively go through what are the key metrics that answer that business question, and where's the data coming from? And from there, you really iterate quickly. We see that stand up, and suddenly you build momentum, but also followership across the organisation.
So that iterative approach is really key. How do you manage and make sure in that context, Jude, that you're not sort of iterating off into a rabbit hole and losing some sense of true north for the organisation?
That's why I'd always have senior executive engagement. Someone who we term almost a major domo in our ecosystem is someone who's got great understanding of what they're trying to achieve from a technology standpoint, but the overarching alignment to the organisation's goal. So,
well, Jude, Jason, thank you very much for joining us today. Appreciate your insights and the great work that you and the Domo team do across all sectors, and particularly in our favoured community sector. So appreciate your time and your insight today. Thanks
you. Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it.